Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes! Well. Hello, my excellent dudes. Here are my thoughts on Bill and Ted Face for Music, the long belated third installment of, I guess, what is now the Bill and Ted trilogy. So, I'm a fan of the original Bill and Ted movies, Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey. I just rewatched them the other week to sort of get back in the zone for watching the third one to refresh my memory. It'd been a long time since I'd seen them, and I remember just how much I love them. I'd sort of forgotten just how much I really do love them. Especially, it'd been a long time since it's been Bogus Journey, and yeah, they both really do work so well. I love them to death. The new movie, basic opinion, I liked it, but there were some things I liked it as a movie on its own, but there were some things that they did to the sort of previously established canon and story which I'm not too keen on. They sort of tweaked things a bit. It's like we're sort of retconning a few things from the original. It's like not so much retcon. I think they're more like they're sort of tweaking things and reinterpreting things, and there's really sort of minor retcons, and they're like, okay. Like to me, it's sort of in a way it didn't feel like it was the exact same idea as what we saw in the first and second movie. But having said that, like I said, as a just on its own, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. Um, so I will probably touch on some spoilers. I'll try not to go into too much, but there will probably be some light spoilers to be warned. But starting off, Bill and Ted, they felt right. You know, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. It didn't feel like a sad attempt at recapturing something they did 30 odd years ago. It didn't feel like a parody. Like I suppose it could quite easily have become like I'm doing parodies, yeah, unintentional parodies. But no, it felt right. I think one of the good things is that they weren't exactly the same as they were in the first two movies. They matured the characters a bit, but they still had those fundamental essential qualities that make Bill and Ted. You could see they'd grown up a bit, but they're still them. And I think that's why it worked. If I had been doing the exact same thing as in the first two movies, it might have been a little like could have come off as parody-ish, satirical. But especially with Keanu Reeves, I think because he's done so much in the public eye since then. Alex Winter's done stuff too. He's done a lot of directing, but Keanu Reeves in particular, he's done so many roles since then, and so many iconic roles like Neo and John Wick especially. Two roles that he's mostly associated with now. It would be easy for him to feel disconnected from a role. Like it'd be easy for it to feel like he's having trouble fitting back into that role he did 30 odd years ago. But no, like I thought I'd be thinking, I thought it'd feel weird seeing John Wick, saying excellent dude. But no, it was Ted. It was Ted. It wasn't John Wick. It wasn't Neo. It was Ted. It just felt right. So I'm really glad that the performances were all great. You could tell that this was done for right reasons. You could tell it wasn't, or at least it didn't feel like a cash grab. Maybe it was, but it didn't feel that way. It didn't feel cheap and nasty. It felt like there was care put into it. And you could tell that the performances were genuine. They wanted to be there. They weren't just rehashing old characters for a paycheck. I was surprised to see a few returning faces I didn't expect to see. Like Missy, and I think it was the same actress who played Missy. I'm not 100% sure. Don't think it was the same kid who played Deacon. I doubt it, but still, it was interesting to see Missy and Deacon, and it was interesting. And on Ted's dad, that was probably one of the biggest surprises. Or I did hear beforehand that both Missy and him were returning, so that was a little bit of a spoiler. But it was a great scene when both there. I had it open with a wedding of This is a spoiler. 3, 2, 1, a wedding between Missy and Deacon. That was just great. And referencing the fact that she had previously married Bill's dad and Ted's dad, now Ted's brother. But yeah, that was great. Like I said, everything, a lot of it, most of the individual parts of this movie, the performances, the characters, everything, are all great. The princesses, I'm pretty sure, both recast. I think Jayma Mays is one of them. I can't remember the other one, but yeah, they're both recast, I'm pretty sure. But they didn't do a whole lot, but they were good. They were fine. Rufus's replacement, because God rest his soul, I'm pretty sure. What's his name? George Carlin. I'm pretty sure he's passed in real life. So his daughter sort of stands in for him now, played by I've forgotten her name. I've blanked. I'll think of it later. She was good. But I think and Def returns, of course, William Sadler. Great to see him back. But I think the highlight in terms of the new characters were definitely their daughters. You know, they were spot on. Quick shout out to Samara Weaving, who played Bill's daughter, because she's an Aussie like myself. She started out on the Home and Away, a soap opera here, same show that Chris Hemsworth started out on. But they were both amazing. Like, I'm always a little wary of these sort of things like, oh, we're gonna give them daughters now to sort of take over, like, because that's sort of what you do now. But no, they were just so genuine, and they were just like, the performances were so spot on. Ted's daughter especially, I've heard people say this before, so I'm not the first one to point out, but the hair helped with her, because her hair sort of looks like what Ted's hair used to look like. But both of them, they were just spot on. But she was definitely the standout out of the two of them. But they're both great. They both captured it perfectly. It's like you had Bill and Ted being slightly more mature Bill and Ted, and you had their daughters being the sort of more original Bill and Ted, if you know what I mean. Now, there were plenty of funny moments, plenty of fun, enjoyable moments. The plot itself was pretty cool. Fabric of Reality's falling apart because they haven't written the song that's going to save the world yet, and we've got a deadline that they need to have it performed by a certain time, or else reality's going to fall apart. Something that, this is where, like I said, I enjoy it as a movie on its own, but in the wider context, I have some troubles. Like, personally, I don't think a third movie was really needed, because I think the second movie sort of wrapped up and showed in the credits of the second movie the headlines, but however the Wild Stallions are touring, sort of things are happening. It's like, peace is being made, whatever. So I don't think a third movie was really needed, but it was enjoyable seeing the characters back on screen. Especially, like, this is the first time I've seen one of his movies on a big screen, so that was great. But then I think the fact that we've gone with the option of the third movie focusing on them still trying to write this song, I'm not. When I first saw it in the trailer, I was a little like, because I feel like it's been so long and they still haven't done it, and I feel like if I'm going to a third movie, maybe they have sort of started the process of inspiring the world or whatever, but maybe just realize it's not as easy as that. It's not as straightforward. Maybe the complexities of what that actually means, like their music's inspiring people, we've got to still try and, I don't know, got to still try and utilize that or something. How do they sort of use this inspiration to make a better world? I don't know, something like that, like, or maybe have them in leadership roles and they're sort of still adjusting to like what we're meant to do now. They're sort of like, we've united the world, but now what? Like, I don't know, I think something about would have been my preference. And I feel like having 30 years later, they're still trying to unite the world. I felt like that was not entirely sure if that's the way I would have liked it to go, but it was fine. It's strange that I feel like in this, it sort of changed the idea, like, between the original beauty of Bill and Ted is that, like, these two nice, well-meaning guys, kind of dim, kind of odd, kind of stupid, these dimwits, their music spreads a simple, they have a simple, beautiful philosophy that will unite the world and make a better future. Just be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. It's their simple innocence. But in this, it's like, it's less like their music sort of spreading a philosophy, and more like they were meant to sing a single song at this specific time, and that unites the world. And, like, I know it's sort of tied into the whole, like, rowdy collapsing thing, but I don't know, it seems like it shifted the idea less from like, oh, they're these guys who, over their career, their music inspires people and unites the world, to just like, no, it's just a specific song at a specific time. And I don't know, that's how they sort of like, this is the next part where they use their daughters as you could probably guess that their daughters are gonna end up being the ones who really, like, they sort of made it obvious. The way they kept referring to Preston and Logan, not Bill and Ted, like, oh, Preston and Logan must do this. It's like, yeah, obviously they're using their last names because they're going to have their daughters be the ones who actually do it. And they sort of, like, did a bit of both, because I kept thinking, like, yeah, I've heard that there's, like, a sort of change or sort of retcon that might upset some people. And I was like, yeah, we're going to have the daughters be the ones who actually, like, write this song or whatever. And they sort of did, but sort of didn't. Like, I can see they sort of their daughters sort of played a major part, but then when the time came, it was sort of still like Bill and Ted at front playing. So like it was sort of like wait, kind of still like yeah, Bill it is Bill and Ted, but it seems I don't know. It feels just different to how it was sort of presented originally. I'm not sure. Like it doesn't bother me too much, but like I said, it's just a little different. It was an interesting concept though. The whole they get every single person in history to play the song at the same time. They give all instruments and everyone's playing the song, and I think that was pretty beautiful. I will say that last scene with the actual song, it made me feel good. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was heartwarming. I was like, yeah, I can't be mad at this. Like it was good. I think the fact that the daughters were so likable, the fact Bill and Ted was still so great, and the fact that that scene, that song was so heartwarming. Like yeah, I can't be mad. That's why I'm saying I still enjoyed it. I liked it. I think it was a good movie. I am glad they made it. It's just that I think if I think of it as part of the overall story, it's sort of questionable. So I'm sort of choosing to think of it as like that's one potential way it happened. Like they even say like there's infinite possible futures, or whatever. Like they sort of establish that. So I think that's just one way it could have happened. But like I think that's the timeline where they sort of screwed things up. They like that the original timeline they should have like just continue after Bogus Journey. That's when things got good. Things went along, world peace, whatever. They sort of founded this new society, and all things good. I feel like this is just a timeline where things got corrupted somehow, and so things turned out differently. And I think that's probably the best way for me to think of it, to reconcile the fact that I liked this movie, but I wasn't certain about the changes they made, all these like slight retcons. So that's probably how I'm going to think of it. What's the other thing? Yeah. Oh yeah, because I also noticed like in the future this time I seem to present less like I know it's sort of even further in the future, like it's sort of 30 years in the future, if that makes sense. Um, it, it it's like there's less reverence for Bill and Ted. It feels like I don't know. It previously been presented that like people really revere them. They really inspired this society. Everyone dressed like them, spoke like them. I felt like there was less of that in this one. It felt like in the future, like apart from I forgot her name, Rufus's daughter. Is it Kelly? I can't remember. She says hello, my excellent dudes, or whatever when she first meets them. That's pretty much it. I feel like most of the other people in the future, there's no real indication that they're still following the sort of Bill and Ted way. I guess, like I said, time's moved on further for them, so maybe things have changed. And I mentioned that it's sort of implied more that like Rufus interpreted events as happening one way, but there are different interpretations. So it's not necessarily as cut and dry as like Bill and Ted with cause for world peace, whatever. So I don't know. I guess like I don't know, their society's changed a bit. Maybe their view of villain has changed, but I don't know. I just preferred the simple message of the original, where it's just like these two goofy but well-meaning idiots can change the world just with their simple philosophy. So yeah, that's how I'm going to think of it from now on. This is just one possible version of it, but it's not the original version of it. This is just like where things went wrong a bit, and so went off on a different course, but there's still the original timeline out there somewhere where things just sort of carried on after Bogus Journey. Everything was good. But so anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts. Sorry if I'm probably a bit incoherent and rambly. That's what I am. That's what I do. So I'm still new to putting my thoughts on video, so let me know what you guys think down below. And how could I forget to mention it? It was super fun just seeing different future versions of themselves. That was fun. Yeah, gotta say, just quickly throw it in there. Sorry, you can tell I'm very organized with my thoughts. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, why don't you give it a like? And if you'd like to see more videos like this, just some random nerd rambling about stuff, let me know. Take care.